Today we're going to give you the 5,000 mile review of this car. Today we have a special sponsor. I'm in my car and let me show you what I got. So this is my daily driver, and in general, again, this part of the car usually looks about the same, steering wheel, all these sorts of things. I think the thing that's different though is right here. So the newer cars have a much better display. They have apps, they've got easy accessibility to a lot of those things. So that's where CarPod Go comes into play. So this is kind of like, call it like a larger version of a phone that you can actually mount on your car and get a lot of these features. So I'm kind of thinking right here, again, I think as I'm driving, that's pretty much below the hood line, but it's also above the vents. So that's where I'm gonna mount it. It even comes with a backup camera. That is fantastic. That's another thing 2014 my car did not have. Now that I'm using the right mount, that works a lot better. So again, I've got a clear line of sight, you know, over the hood and stuff, but yeah, that looks really good. So got this all set up. It automatically connects with my phone. It automatically starts up with Maps and Spotify. So this is 60 frames per second and it is super smooth performance. No wires to your phone, works perfectly. So this also has display only Bluetooth mode. So this feature separates display and audio functionality, allowing for seamless wireless CarPlay experience. And so you don't get any of the kind of audio lag. So in the Bluetooth mode, the audio playback supports even the use of the car's multifunction steering wheel buttons and original microphone. If your vehicle doesn't have Bluetooth, not a problem. You've got the auxiliary Bluetooth receiver. So just like that, your car will be Bluetooth enabled. Let's see if this works. Oh yeah. So again, it's got everything that you could want. All the app features, like Patreon, things like that. And we can make calls. It's got all your contacts, everything from your phone. This is awesome. Navigate to McDonald's. Bam, look at that. And again, this is pretty much at my eye line, so works out really well. I really can't tell you how nice it is to kind of have the modern features in this car. It makes it new again. So really recommend something like this. So this is a really cool product, really cool. You get to transform your car kind of from any era up to the present day. So you get all the apps, all the features, Bluetooth, everything, and it's really for a small price. So I'd highly recommend go checking them out. It's really important to help out these sponsors. So please go visit their page. If this is something you're interested in or a gift for somebody, that's a great idea. I'll leave a link in the video description below. For those of you who haven't seen, I built this car in my garage, and there's a whole build compilation. I'll leave a link right up here. So this one started out as a kit. This is a K1 Attack, and it was heavily modified. I ended up chopping up the chassis, putting on a Tesla motor, whole Tesla subframe, and making this electric. First, let me say I'm incredibly humbled to be able to give this experience. It took a long time, a lot of effort, and I'm not here to kind of brag. I'm also not here to just rag on my car, but I just really want to give you kind of the honest experience of what it's like having built a DIY supercar and what it's like to kind of live with it, drive with it, all those things. So one of the questions is, have you had any mishaps? So let me tell you about those. So one of the mishaps I actually did an episode on, but there was some smoke coming from the steering column. And it ended up being a clock spring that I used that kind of ended up shorting out. Yeah, that is just crispy. It doesn't smell very good either. Oh my gosh, look at that. So that was kind of scary, and ever since then I've been very sensitive to any smells or noises that I hear. I was trailering the car down to Sonoma, and while I was trailering, this passenger mirror came loose, so it was no longer pointing in the right direction. So the design to keep these fastened to the car was not very good, so that was a close call. We didn't lose it, but had to redo it. So another question is the wear and tear. You might be surprised at some of the elements that you'll see kind of wore quite a bit. As you can see, it is well used. Again, things are very dirty. So front tires are kind of getting pretty worn. Still got a little life left. Back tires, I can neither confirm nor deny that these are the original tires. All right, so with the door up, again, this is kind of the wheel well. I even put some rubber here to try and seal it. but you can see we still just get all sorts of rocks and debris. And again, water will come through here. This is the gas strut. You see there's just a lot of wear there. And it's basically just, again, right around here. And it's just lots of, whenever you hit bumps and stuff, it moves, and that's wearing there. So other issues, you see how it's we're wearing through the paint here. So basically that hits right down here. So again, the constant vibration and things just cause that to rub. Also right here, this is where it's wearing. And right there. So basically any place where it's close enough to touch, it will kind of wear. Again, there's just more rubbing. More rubbing. So basically anywhere where it rubs. This one I've actually got a protective film on it that I thought, hey, that'll help. Well, it helps this, so if I peel that off, it'll look good, but this other side is like rubbed all the heck. Again, I don't know how well you can see paint. Where can I see it? Anyway, I've got like this line, this right here. Can you see that or not? Anyway, so that's going to be more paint problems or body filler problems. So behind the license plate is where I put my charge port. I made the charge port with the only charger that I had at that time, and since then I've had lots of opportunities to try multiple chargers, and it seems like the notch is like wider and wider with lots of different ones. So I've had to enlarge this, and then sometimes when I put it in, it'll hit the wrong place and kind of chip out a spot. But in general, I quite like this behind the license plate. I don't know how well you're going to be able to see this, but yeah, you can probably just see it right around here. So there are some occasional high spots or whatever from the paint. I don't know if that's like moisture trapped or if that's actually deeper, like on the layer of the filler. But I've got a couple of these that seem to kind of come and go with weather or with sun. So again, this is my first time painting, so I'm sure I made plenty of mistakes. So there's a small crack in the paint, which probably means there's a small crack in the fiberglass. So this is by the passenger door. I had a tool, it was like an Allen wrench, and it fell and chipped right there and right there. So I don't know if you can see, but right there, got a crack in the windshield. I actually just did some of the windshield crack sealant, and it works fine. Can't really see it too well. One other thing is I put in some vents, and the contour doesn't exactly match the dash, but if you put adhesive on and clamp it down, it works great until it doesn't. So this stuff, I guess getting baked over the sun and whatever, some of it starts to separate. So I gotta find some better adhesive. Because of the offset that I used, as well as the height that I have, I do rub every now and then. You can probably see just a little bit here if I take a big bump. So I have driven it a lot, so I get lots of rock chips. Because most cars have like a lens or glass up front, this does not, so you get lots of rocks and things that accumulate. More rock chips. If my car was a superhero, it would have an arch nemesis. The arch nemesis would be water. So you can see here, this is where it doesn't really have any like real arch liners. So basically any spray comes and hits there and kind of goes through. The other part is it actually comes through here. Right here and then through here. Essentially, again, this is all just after the wheel well. There's not really any sort of barrier. So again, if you just go through a puddle, water comes through like all these places. So this is really not meant for rainy weather. The windshield wiper doesn't work that great. Again, it's not made, the whole car doesn't do well in the rain, so it's not a big deal. I don't drive when there's rain out, but yeah, that doesn't really work. So believe it or not, there are a few things that I just really dislike. I think the thing that I hate singly the most are the seats. And again, it's not so much the design or look, because I think they look pretty good. But they are super uncomfortable. Basically the floorboard, you're sitting about that far off the ground. So you're sitting really close to the ground. The other thing is they are very upright. So I think it would work a lot better if they were more set back. But that bump right there on that center cushion, that is really uncomfortable. So it really makes me not want to drive any longer than like, say, 20 minutes. Okay, for me, the other thing is, I'll call it seat height. This whole car is not meant for like a full-size man. So my head is actually probably a little bit higher than the headrest here. And so as you can see, that's also higher than the roll hoop, which does not make it very safe. And also for my eye line, it's probably about like this, where the top part is kind of obscured by this. I mean, you can still see the road and everything you need to, but like if you go up to a stoplight, normally you're looking up at the stoplight, and the stoplight's usually like right in here. You'll see that I have a removable steering wheel. That is not because I want to be cool or like a race car driver, but it is out of necessity. It is literally impossible to get in and out with the steering wheel in place. But yeah, so if I wanted to get out, there's just like, yeah, I just don't know that there's a realistic way. But that's the other thing is the steering wheel sits low, so I would prefer it to be up higher. But so if it's right now, I can see the instrument cluster just fine because I see it above the steering wheel. But yeah, if I could, I'd probably have it raised, whatever that is, 3 inches. So there are a few things that I did that as I was in the process of doing them, I thought, is this going to be worth it, or would I still like it? Well, let me show you about some of those. And I still quite like what I've done with the interior. I did a fingerprint scanner, which I thought would be really cool. That way I don't need a key. I quite like it. One of the features I was least happy about at the beginning, and I actually has grown on me quite a bit, was the exposed coilovers here in the front. You know, seeing the suspension, I kind of just thought, oh, I don't like that. But it's grown on me quite a bit over the year, and I think it is one of the more distinguishing features of the car. I do really like that the doors go up. So I mean, nothing says supercar like Lambo style doors. One of the questions I get asked most is, what would you do differently, or how have you found this whole experience? Things I would do differently. So the whole rear is from a Tesla, and so that worked out okay. The front, I just adopted what they had when they had the kit, and the wheels, like the, I call this not the spacing, but the pattern, the wheel pattern, it's like 100. It's like 5 by 100, so it's like a really small pattern. Yeah, and if I would have known, probably would have swapped it out for something more common. The part that probably still needs the most help, I'll say, it needs just a big old rear diffuser. So I think it looks pretty good everywhere, but it kind of just, you know, so it's pretty low to the ground, and then up here it's just kind of up. So I think if I had a really nice rear diffuser, that would really complete the look. All right, other things that I don't like. I've got this radio that's got a pop-up screen, which is great. Today's a little bit overcast, but on a lot of days you cannot see anything. It's just too bright outside, and so you can't see this very well. And it's like the dash here, it's kind of, I'll call it shielded, and this is not. So you can always see this. This is an iPad, it works okay. This is much more challenging to see. Other downsides, there is no cup holder. Again, I guess if you got a race car, it's not one of your biggest things. But again, if you're just driving around, maybe you want a cup holder or even a place to put your phone. We don't have any of that. Accessibility. So to get to any of my high voltage system, I have to kind of get this rear panel off. So I've had to do that several times. It's not the worst in the world, but I think the thing is, it's been a more finished car. You just worry about damaging the paint or things like that. It would have been a lot nicer if it was just easier access somewhere. I've also had to get into the center console several times, and it seems like you should just be able to pop that up, but no. In order to get this off, it actually tucks in under the stereo and then in under this back panel. So you basically have to take the back panel off, slide this way to get it up. So in the trunk, the motor bay area, I never really finished it, so you can kind of just see right into the motor. Those are battery boxes. And there's part of me that wishes that I just had made this into a trunk area that could haul around a lot of stuff, because there's a lot of room. The other part is I made the chassis before I put things on, before I put on the outer shell and stuff, and so I put this bar is like right in the middle of what would otherwise be this huge space. So if I could have redone it to like have it kind of come out and around, man, you could put tons and tons of storage in there. But never got around to it, and I don't think I will either. Another thing, I spent a lot of time making a top for this, and the top that came with it was just, yeah, it didn't look very good. So I spent a lot of time making a top, because I thought, God, if I'm gonna do it, I need to do it now, because I won't ever do it later. And that's true, and I've got a top. I never put it on. So one of the reasons not to put it on, again, I worry a lot about the paint. It's not necessarily a 2-minute process. It involves putting a piece here, putting a piece here that have to be bolted together there. Then the top goes on, and then there's also door pieces. And that way, the other challenge is they don't have windows that go up and down. So if you ever wanted to even talk to somebody, you have to open the door. Another thing, I spent a lot of time wiring a wireless entry system where you just walk up to the car and it would unlock and things like that. And again, because I don't use a roof, or it's like, look, anybody could get in at any time. So basically, the other thing is it would draw a lot of current from my battery. So I just turn it off. I don't ever use it. So it's like, that was a lot of time where, yeah, didn't need to. You know, in that same category, spent a lot of time with door locks. Don't ever use door locks. So I don't really have any range anxiety. I haven't really taken on road trips, again, because the seats are awful. But yeah, it gets around 125-mile range, and it's good enough to pretty much do anything I want. So I did take this car racing. I trailered it to Sonoma, did the large track as well as the drag strip and some autocross. Beyond that, there are some that stop me at red lights and want to race. I think it's kind of funny, but let me show you some of those. Yes, I do get a lot of people that say, hey, you want to race? Yeah, to me it's just funny. You know, by all means, I don't feel like I got the fastest car, but those who want to race do not have fast cars. And I'm also a little bit at altitude, so yeah, electric really cleans up. I'll show you a few clips. One time? I'll go to the speed limit. Well, that's for me, man. You can keep going to 100. I'm going to cut out around the speed limit. So this is what a car I made in my garage. Yeah. So it's a car I made in my garage.
No way.
Yeah.
Are you on Instagram or anything?
Yeah.
What's your name?
Electric SuperCar. So another cool thing, this is a one-car car show. I kid you not. I've had some people say, hey, can we come see your car? So I'll say, yeah, let's meet at like a Walmart parking lot or something. So I'll drive there just to the back of the parking lot, and we'll meet up. And before you know it, we got like 10, 20 people just sitting, chatting about the car. So it is a showstopper and a one-car car show. I do drive this like as much as I can. I did get an opportunity to put it in a museum, which is really cool. And everybody's like, no, don't put it in a museum. I did it for like 2 weeks, and then yeah, just drive it all the time. So it is scary fast. It has manual brakes and manual steering. I don't really mind the manual brakes. I use regenerative braking almost exclusively, and very rarely do I actually have to engage the real brakes. Manual steering I actually don't mind. Obviously in the parking lot you realize it's manual, but it's such a light car that it really doesn't need much. I think I'd say what I like the most is just the looks and the attention you get. A close second is the performance. It just is a crazy acceleration, really good handling, really small sports car. If I didn't hit a topic you are interested in, please let me know in the comments below. I will try and answer it. So it's been 5,000 miles and it's been great. I've really enjoyed all the experiences. Obviously there's some things I'd change, things I'd do differently, but it's been fantastic. So that'll do it for this time. See you next time. Oh my gosh. 5,000 mile update. Is that what we're gonna call it? Review? So many planes today. I don't know what the deal is. Dude, go away.